Well, welcome back. Today I got a 2001 Buick Park Avenue I'm going to do front struts in. I've done some other suspension work in this, done both hubs in the front, tie rod ends, both axles. Last thing I needed to do, ball joints are fine in this, so I didn't touch them. But I do need to do struts in this. Kind of floats down the road, you can feel it, it's not, it's just not working. So I'm going to take you through and show you how to do this. Pretty simple job. Shouldn't take that long. Okay, so obviously the first thing to do these struts, got to remove the wheel. 19 millimeter. So we have two bolts we have to remove from the bottom of the strut. 24 millimeter nuts. Down do there's two brackets, one for the brake line, one for the ABS sensor. They're 10 millimeter. And that's pretty much all we have to do down here. So we're going to do them next. 10 millimeter. Right down behind the rotor is the ABS sensor, the clip. I'm just going to disconnect that lead, set it out of the way, make sure this is loose. We can leave caliper and rotor, that all can stay on. So next we're going to do is we're going to loosen these bolts that hold the steering knuckle to the strut, 24 millimeter. Just going to undo these. These bolt heads don't turn. They got a spline, so you can put you shouldn't need to put a wrench in these at all. They won't move. You may need to if you're doing this by hand and not with a gun. You may have to put a wrench on this side and hold it. And one thing I almost forgot to tell you, I just did the axle on this, both axles in this car, and along the front of this strut mount, I took a small screwdriver or a hook, a little 90-degree hook, and I scribed the steering knuckle so I know where the edge of this flange for the strut is. You want to do that before you loosen these up and take it apart. So when you put it back, you want to line them back up and get your alignment very close. You do need to get an alignment done after you do the struts on this, but that'll keep it close, make it behave a lot better. So these, we're going to drive these out with a hammer. They're splined, so we'll just tap them out. Push in a little bit on this usually. There we go. Just take both of them out. Actually, I'm gonna take that out. So I was gonna do something else, but okay. Let that sit there. So that's all we have to do down here. That's it for taking the strut. So we're gonna come up top, and we're gonna show you the mount, take the mount apart. So we're up top now. The strut mount, where it mounts at the top, you have 3 bolts, 15 millimeter. Just want to take them out. Strut should come with 3 new bolts. So I've left it, I haven't separated it down the bottom yet from the steering knuckle, so it kind of holds it in place for me. It will come out of there, but it just holds it so it doesn't drop on you. Okay, so we've got these out, so we should just be able to move this out. We're going to kind of push in on the strut like that, lean this out a little bit. Don't pull it away from the axle so far that it causes a problem with the axle. You don't want that. So we're going to make sure we don't cause a problem there. But then, as soon as I move that off the steering knuckle, it falls out of there. So we'll just hold on to it and kind of wiggle it out of here. There you go, that's it. So we have a quick strut here. It's all pre-assembled, coil springs on it. This car has 158,000 miles on it. And I highly recommend, particularly if you don't have the tools, compressing these springs is pretty dangerous. You got to be really careful doing it. And in reality, with 160,000 miles, I don't know whether these, I think they were factory struts. Your mounts and your bearing at the top, they had a tendency to, they're going to wear out just as much as the shock. So you're better off just buying the whole unit and putting the whole unit in, plus the fact that the amount of time you're going to save is tremendous. You can do one of these probably in 15 minutes. So there are 2 posts on this particular strut mount that line up with 2 holes in the top here, and we will on the inside of the top strut mount. So we're just going to slide this into place, get it lined up here, and then we're going to put a couple of temporarily kind of hand tighten a couple of the, 2 of the 3 or 3 of the top bolts here that hold the mount, and that'll hold it in place, and then we can put the steering knuckle back in. I guess I'll show you that. Alright, so I'm just going to feed this strut up into the holes, line my 2 pins up here, and get the bolt started. There we go. I'm going to take one of my bolts here, just start it. Make sure I'm lined up, get my next one started. Alright, I'm just going to run them in, snug them up. Alright, so now I just have to line everything back up. Gonna get the steering knuckle back in place, push in on the strut. Probably turn it a little bit, I think. Take my 2 mounting bolts here. Okay, I'll get this started. Where's my hammer? Just tap it back in. I don't have to drive it all the way in. It'll pull it in as I turn the bolt. I just want to get it in place there. I still need to be able to move it. Line the hole up. So this is where the scribe on this knuckle that I made at the beginning. We start my nuts here. Get started. So now I gotta move this in and out and find my scribe marks and where they are. And they're almost all the way in like that. Pretty close. So I'm going to run these in, get them close, but I still want to be able to move this and line it up with my scribe marks on either side and then tighten it up. That'll put my alignment close to where it should be. And as I said before, when this is all said and done, I need to get an alignment done. My scribe mark lined up here. Hook our lines back up here. Okay, there's our 2 lines. Everything's back together around here. Don't forget your ABS sensor, plug that back in. Do that. Almost forgot it. I almost forgot it. Good. Now we'll go back up top. Alright, we're back up top. Just tighten these 3 bolts up again. That's it. Well, that's about it. Pretty easy job, actually. 15 minutes if you buy one of these quick struts where you don't have to actually compress the spring and put a new strut in there and remount it. You can do it one side of these in about 15 minutes. you need to get alignment done after you do this. And you can see I had scribed the steering knuckle on the edge of the strut mount because I needed to break them loose when I did the CV axles in this, and then I can line those marks back up and get them real close to where they were when I put the new struts in. But you do need to get an alignment done. If you're doing a lot of suspension work, or you know you're going to have to do multiple things, do all those things before you get the alignment done. If you have to do a ball joint, or you have to do a tie rod end, or you know, you have to break that strut loose to do an axle, or actually do the struts themselves, do all that work that you know you have to do before you go get alignment done. So I'm going to take this and get alignment. I did take it out for a drive, and it's running really good. I mean, it rides really well. It doesn't float anymore, so it definitely made a difference. I hope you like the videos. I hope they help you out. If you do like them, subscribe below. Thanks for watching.